When we first looked at creating a line of products, this is probably now going way back to the 1980s, we were a product development company. We had a fairly big research lab. We also ended up doing manufacturing. We had a fairly large facility. Not only do we do nutritional products for animals and humans, we did OTC pharmaceuticals, and we did powders, and we did a whole, capsules and tablets and a whole series of things. So we had a fairly big facility that we developed over the years. And we then thought, well, we make products for lots and lots of people. If I would name some of the companies that we've made products for, you'd recognize them somewhere in the grocery stores, the health food stores, the pharmacies, some even, unfortunately, competitors at one time in direct sales with you, but not those types of micellized products. So we were doing is say, well, what would we do if we wanted to have a line of products ourselves? I mean, I was always a firm believer in nutrition. I think I look pretty good for 92, so it's working. Obviously, I haven't found anything that grows hair, so please don't ask me about that. Although I understand if somebody Googled me in the internet and found my picture and my name promoting a product in Canada for growing hair called Growth Plus or something like that, it'll disturb me a little bit until I see that they put a picture of me 25 years ago, so I look really great. I can't stop them from doing that, and I don't know how I'm in there selling hair grow, but obviously that doesn't work. So you're never going to hear me talking about growing hair with anything you put on your head or take in. So we wanted to design a line of products, and so you look at things, what's important? Well, basic nutrition, absorption, digestion, joint pain issues, immunity. And so you said, well, let's lay out what are all the things we need to cover. So what we did is we designed a line of products that we were going to market ourselves. And we put those together. We actually had them all finished. We even had suggested names and labels for the product. But we also recognized, fortunately, before we did that, we weren't marketing people. We were research people. We were manufacturing people. We were product development people. So we knew what we could do in terms of making a product, developing a product, and putting it together. And we realized this is not our expertise. So we were fortunate enough to meet Ed Silverberg, not Ted. Ed was actually the first one we met. And he and his partner, they said, look, we would be interested to take this on as a marketing project because we like your products and what we did. And that's how it got started. So the line of Biometics products is an interesting line because having made, I can't even count, hundreds of products. I've made hundreds of products, and most of them are still sold in different places today. I mean, I just came back from a tour of Japan in July. Went to 9 cities because I've done stuff for Japan. I've done stuff for Germany. I've been in the Czech Republic. Well, we still have done stuff for all over the place. But this line was a line we made for ourselves. And so Ed Silverberg took this, ran with it, and became Biometics. And I think that's something that I always felt somewhat akin to. Now, recently, as Chris mentioned, we've tried to do a significant improvement and revision of this process. And what we've done is found some ways to enhance the effectiveness, to increase the concentrations that we could do, find ways to make the improvements. And sort of the nice thing about this is that for the first time in many years, I actually myself went back to the lab and did all those. I redid all the Biometics products myself, and I kicked everybody else out of the lab because I said I need my own little, but also I didn't want them to think I could, make any mistakes or something I didn't know how to do, and I forgot how to work in a lab. But we did some interesting work. We redid things, and I'm now working with, of course, my research director of many years is now back working with me, and also a flavor chemist who I've known for 20-some years, did all the flavor work. And also, I just let you know, Biometics is still a work in progress. We're still looking at some interesting new improvements since we've been really looking at the whole line. So we've made some interesting improvements to enhance absorption, enhance utilization. Now, a lot of people have come up and said they get results with Biometics. They don't seem to get with other products. Somebody takes one a day, or you take, Centrum, and you say, well, I've been taking my horse tablets here, which some of them should be suppositories. But at any rate, so what we wanted to do here is to put together the line, improve everything we could, and put it into a liquid form. A lot of people say, well, okay, I take the Centrum, and how come I don't get the results? Or I take a diet dust powder, and how come that doesn't help? Or, I take a handful of these. Well, first of all, again, it's not what you eat, what you absorb and use. How the product's formulated is very, very critical. What form it's in, when do you take it, what does it interact with? If you take calcium, for example, of any form, and you happen to take it with a whole bunch of fiber in the morning, you're not going to absorb much, because fiber has phytic acid, it binds calcium, you're not going to get any significant absorption. Also, if you don't have proper digestion in terms of acid production, because calcium has to be acidified in order to use, you're not going to absorb it. So there are a lot of issues that when you take a tablet that's got a whole bunch of everything in it, all mashed together, you have to break down the tablet, then you have to be able to ionize the minerals, and you have to be able to take in the vitamins, and the fat solubles have to get micellized in the body. So all these things play a role. So when you get effectiveness from a product, it's not because there's anything that's a miracle. It's not because there's any unique chemical, or there's some, super, unique thing that nobody's ever thought of. What it is putting together something that makes it as natural as possible for you to absorb and use. So, when you compress a tablet, you can compress tablets. We do that for different things. You put a lot of pressure on it. But even if you're making a tablet, you have to know how to put the right things in it to have it break down. If I make a tablet, I want it to dissolve in 30 minutes. So we're going to do a whole lot of disintegration testing to make sure the tablet holds but breaks down. So no matter what dosage form you make, you have to make sure it's designed properly. The liquids play a really big role in nutrition because it's more food-like. I mean, you don't normally pick tablets off of trees, but you can pick fruits off of trees, and you can squish the fruits, and you can make a concentrate. You can take certain nutrients and put them into a water solution. And that's what we've done. So, and I'm going to go through the products with you so that you get an idea of what the ingredients are, what they do, how they work, and why it might be effective. But the one thing I wanted to clarify is that a lot of people have taken nutrition a long time, and they haven't got results. So a lot of people say, well, the vitamin stuff's just for making money. It's a hustle. You see a lot of stuff on television, buy this, it'll cure this, treat that. And so a lot of people get very skeptical about nutrition. A lot of physicians used to get skeptical, although more and more are not. I mean, there's no question about things like CoQ10 being good for cardiovascular disease. Certainly the fish oils improving, lipids in the bloodstream. And there's a lot of other things, too, like B6. Somebody mentioned carpal tunnel syndrome. Who mentioned that? Okay. There's an interesting thing about carpal tunnel syndrome is that we used to have the doctors test to see whether or not, aside from the pain, you have what's called interstitial fluid, because fluid is what's causing the pain in carpal tunnel. So if you take your hands in the morning and you can't bend your fingers down like that without them being puffy, you have interstitial fluid buildup. One of the things that actually is in the scientific literature, medical literature, that helps with carpal tunnel is vitamin B6. It removes the interstitial fluid. So if you can get B6 to those areas of the joints, you're going to reduce the symptoms of carpal tunnel because you're relieving the pressure due to the fluid buildup. So things like that, work, but you have to know, are you going to get the B6? You can actually affect B6 absorption, for example, with huge amounts of B2 and other things binding it. So, and also, vitamins are also important in terms of pH. pH meaning acid levels in the bloodstream. Most vitamins are absorbed in what's called the upper part of the digestive tract, called the duodenum, and the pH there is about like 5, 5.5. If you don't absorb the vitamins in that level, and they go farther down because something's blocking it or something's bound, you're not going to absorb the vitamin. So you have very poor absorption. B6, B2, very clearly right around 5.5. So you have to design products that actually will either result in that or in that to begin with. And that's what we've done with these. These are sitting in the right pH range for maximum absorption of the B vitamins, not only because of the micellization for the fat solubles. So there's a lot that goes into designing a formulation, and a lot of there's science involved. There's a little bit of creativity, a little bit of art, but you have to put that all together to make it work. So that's what we've really done with the Biometics products. And I thought what maybe I would do is to review the products with you. That way we can give you an idea of some of the features of them. If there's something interesting about a particular nutrient or what we've done with it or how we formulated it, that's when I'll sort of tell you about that.